Micah Parsons has officially requested a trade from the Dallas Cowboys, and the LA Chargers now have the chance to take a Herculean swing on a franchise-altering player. Parsons is one of the 5 best defensive players in the sport, and while the cost would be high, he transforms every defense he plays on. Whether or not the Chargers should take a big swing on Parsons has become a topic of hot debate. The Chargers certainly have the resources to take a swing. However, some fans prefer the team keep those resources to build through the NFL draft. One thing is for certain, those in the Chargers locker room would love to play with Parsons. The players themselves aren't worried about the salary cap space or the future draft capital. They want to compete for a Super Bowl and play alongside the best of the best. Just ask Derwin James, who is good friends with Parsons and sent a not-so-subtle message to the All-Pro edge rusher during a recent appearance on FanDuel TV's Up and Adams. Derwin James flirts with the idea of Micah Parsons joining the Chargers. James didn't make an outright plea for Parsons to join the Chargers, nor was he trying to put any pressure on his front office to get a deal done. However, it's not hard to read between the lines of what James actually said. James highlighted the close relationship he has with Parsons and specifically mentioned agent David Mulugeta, who represents both James and Parsons. That connective thread is important and may give James unique insight on the entire situation in Dallas. The Cowboys have really fumbled the negotiations with Parsons, opting to negotiate directly with Parsons himself instead of his agency. This has caused a rift between the player and the organization that seems irreparable after Parsons' comments. James is somewhat close to the situation via his agent and may know more behind the scenes than any Chargers fan knows. Who knows? Perhaps James is shouting his agent out not just for how he has handled this situation, but for the strings he might be pulling behind closed doors. Either way, the idea of James and Parsons on the same defense is nightmare fuel for opposing quarterbacks. Throw in Khalil Mack, who would be rushing the passer opposite of Parsons, and the Chargers' top-tier defense would instantly become the scariest in the league. That possibility has to entice the Chargers and could force what has been a conservative front office to at least consider a bolder swing. After all, it's not every day you have an opportunity to trade for one of the premier players in the sport. If you haven't noticed by now, the hits just won't stop coming for the Dallas Cowboys on the offensive line. Left guard Tyler Smith came out of practice early on Thursday. Thank goodness, this one was not anything major either. Smith is dealing with tendinitis in his knee, Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones told the Dallas Morning News. Smith left practice with about 30 minutes remaining and told reporters he was fine as he walked down the sideline back to the team's training camp setup. No room for error. Look, after losing Robert Jones with a broken bone in his neck and Tyler Guyton expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks, the Cowboys had to go out and sign La'el Collins. Collins played for the Cowboys for 7 seasons, but he has not played in the NFL since 2022, when he was with the Bengals. He had a brief practice squad stint with the Cowboys in 2023 and was with the Bills in camp in 2024. Collins has played 89 games with 86 starts in his career, seeing action at both tackle and guard, but at this point in his career, should he be a guy that the Cowboys have any confidence in sending out there for at least a month to start? I would say no. Nate Thomas, a second-year player from Louisiana Tech, is getting the first look at replacing Guyton at left tackle. Thomas is 6'4" and weighs 330 pounds, and that size carries over to the field. Steele has been working his way back into practice since his high ankle sprain forced him to miss a couple of days, so there is no telling how long it will be until he's back with the first-team offense on a full-time basis. Cooper Beebe is a guy that I still think highly of, and he is going to be needed big time this year to play at a high level. Tyler Booker will hopefully need to have a Smith-type year in his rookie season, but we have to be honest. This offensive line does not have much more room for error at all. Let's see how the rest of the summer unfolds, but man, it feels like someone is going down with an injury every single week, and I just hope these stop at some point. This offensive line is going to need to be good for the running game they have, and with Pickens and Lamb on the outside. Linebacker Micah Parsons is still a member of the Dallas Cowboys days after requesting a trade. He also still doesn't have a new contract. Parsons attended practice in Oxnard, California over the weekend, but he didn't meet with the media. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones and coach Brian Schottenheimer did. Here's what they had to say. Jerry responds. The Cowboys' 82-year-old owner and general manager isn't taking Parsons' trade request too seriously, calling it part of the negotiations. When asked if Parsons' post on X on Friday afternoon made him angry, he quickly responded with a no. Think this relationship is salvageable? A reporter asked. I think the relationship is what it is. What it is, period, Jones said. I wouldn't be standing here with you if I didn't think we had potentially had a great future with Micah. It'd be a waste of all our time. So, we're in good shape. This is negotiation. Jones also encouraged fans not to lose any sleep over it. He's confident there will be a deal and said he's not even considering a potential trade deal. Shoddy responds. During a news conference on Monday, reporters asked Coach Schottenheimer if the talk about a trade changed any of his plans for Parsons. No. We're still planning on moving Mike around and putting him in all the spots that we see him and using our fronts the way we want to see it, he said. We go about our business every day. We live in the moment. We focus on the moment. Schottenheimer said he didn't want to get into a deep discussion about Parsons' trade request. We expect Micah to be here, he said. Micah at practice. Parsons was at practice on Saturday. And although he appeared to be healthy, he has yet to participate after complaining of back issues. He didn't speak to reporters, but did spend some time with Will McClay, the team's vice president of player personnel. It's not clear what they were chatting about, but it's a promising sign. Parsons reportedly hasn't spoken to Jerry or Stephen Jones since his trade request. The boys were off on Sunday. Fan support. Fans at training camp gave Jones an earful as he took the field on Saturday. Let's pay Micah. Let's pay Micah, they chanted. Jones was seemingly unfazed by the noise.